In this video, we are continuing our section on how to use the normal distribution. We will actually use technology. In this particular video, we will be using the Art of Stat online apps. So we want to go online to artofstat.com. And from here, we want to use the free online web apps. And from those, we want to use the app that is the normal distribution when time comes. As a reminder, we can see these examples in the OpenStax Introductory Statistics book in section 6.2. We will start with example 6.9 in this video. And also in the Lumen Intro Statistics with Corequisite book, we are in module 6 under Introduction to Using the Normal Distribution. Remember that we will be using online apps for this, and we will be required to sketch the curve, label and number the axis, write a math expression for the problem we are asked to solve, shade the area corresponding to the probability. So the example we are going to be working on is about a personal computer that is used for office work at home, research, communication, personal finances, education, entertainment, social networking, and a myriad of other things. Suppose that the average number of hours a household personal computer is used for entertainment is 2 hours per day. Assume that the times for entertainment are normally distributed and the standard deviation of the times is half an hour. Round to the nearest thousandth all the answers, and the first question is to find the probability that a household personal computer is used for entertainment between 1.8 and 2.75 hours per day. So first of all, I am sketching my normal distribution. I put the mean equal to 2 hours in the middle, and then every standard deviation is 0.5. So I do 3 tick marks to the left and 3 tick marks to the right, and I number those. The label for my x-axis is that this is the computer use in hours. The next thing that they are asking us is a mathematical expression for the question. The mathematical expression is what's the probability the variable x, which is the hours the computer is used for entertainment, is between 1.8 and 2.75. And it doesn't matter if we say less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, or if we just say less than and greater than. That is because for continuous variables, the probability of being equal to a particular value is equal to 0. So I'm actually going to use the Art of Stat, and the Art of Stat will also create the graph for you and will also create the mathematical expression if you are unsure of what that might look like. Your only job will be to actually label the axis with the correct value of the variable and its units. The variable is the computer used for entertainment measured in hours. So I'm going to go here in the normal distribution in Art of Stat, and I will go to the tab that says Find Probability. It asks me for the mean, and the mean is 2, and it asks me for the standard deviation, which is 0.5. And then it's asking me what's the probability I will be between two values, and the choices here for the type of probability is to have a lower tail probability, an upper tail probability, which is greater than, an interval probability, which is between, and notice here that they don't have equal signs, and this is what I want. And then they say what are the values of the smallest value of the variable x1, and that is 1.8. And what's the value of x2, which is the largest value of the variable in the expression for the type of probability, and that was 2.75. And if you pay attention here in the tab, in the title, you see the expression that you need to write. Probability 1.8 less than x less than 2.75. Also, the app generates the graph of the normal distribution, numbers the axis with the mean in the middle, and then tick marks, 3 tick marks to the right and 3 tick marks to the left. So you have that ready, and also shades for you, the area of interest. So that's what we want to do here. We want to mark the 1.8. We want to mark the 2.75. And then we want to shade the area in between, which corresponds to the probability of the value of the variable being between those two values. And the app gives me the answer. They are asking me to round to the nearest thousandth. That means they don't want percentages. So I don't want to write 58.86%. I want to look, I want to convert this percentage to a decimal. So it will be 0.5886. But then they say that I need to round to the nearest thousand, and this is to the nearest 10,000th. So I have to round to 3 decimal digits, which will be approximately 0.589. And I will write in my test or in my exam or for my work that I used Art of Stat, and I will abbreviate that later in the notes as AOS. And then I will say that I used the normal distribution. I entered the mean to be 2. I entered the standard deviation to be 0.5. Notice here that these symbols are available. Over here, it says mean mu, standard deviation sigma. And then for the type of probability, I did interval. So then I did interval probability. And then I did x1 equals 1.8 and x2 equals 2.75. So for the next one, it says find the probability that a household personal computer is used for entertainment at most 2.3 hours per day. Now, at most mean this much or less. So the expression is x is less than or equal to 2.3 hours. I'm going to find, obviously, Art of Stat will show me the graph, but 2.3 hours is between 2 and 2.5, and less than or equal to is everything to the left of that. And I will verify when I use Art of Stat. So again, I'm going to go in Art of Stat and I'm going to say I have the same mean and standard deviation. I'm looking for a lower tail this time. The value for x is 2.3, and it's going to, again, give me the mathematical expression here at the top, give me the probability of 72.57%. And again, down here in the table, I can see the expression again. The only problem is that this is given in percent form. I need to convert to a decimal. So this is approximately 0.7257. Let me double check that I'm writing the right number. 7257. I have to round to the nearest thousandth, which is approximately 0.726. And again, I used Art of Stat. I used the mean of 2, the standard deviation of 0.5. I did a lower tail, and my value for x was equal to 2.3. Find the probability that a household personal computer is used for entertainment more than 2.3 hours. So here I have 2 ways of doing that. One is I have already found less than 2.3 hours. So more than 2.3 hours will be the complement. So it will be the rest from 100%. I can also ask ArtofStat to do that. Or in the existing screen, I can see it because ArtofStat shows me the area to the left, but then also shows me the area to the right, which is 27.43%. Of course, I could also just do the upper tail and change the value to 2.3, and it will give me that value, 27.43%. So I didn't need to do another search in ArtofStat because I already had this. So 0.2743, and I need to round to the nearest thousandth, so 0.274 will be my answer. And again, ArtofStat, explain how you use your technology. The mean is 2, the standard deviation is 0.5. I did the upper tail, and I put the x to be equal to 2.3. Finally, find the probability that a household personal computer is used for entertainment at least 2.8 hours. At least means this much or more. So x is greater than or equal to 2.8. I will be again at the upper tail. My x value will be 2.8. And I'm looking for that or more. So I'm going to shade the area under the curve that is to the right of 2.8. And here I'm just going to change this to 2.8. And ArtofStat will say that this is 5.48%. As a decimal, this is approximately 0.0548. And I have to round to the nearest thousandth, so 0.055. And again, I used ArtofStat, upper tail, and x was equal to 2.8. An inverse function is a function where the input of the original function becomes the output of the inverse function. This naturally leads to the output of the original function becoming the input of the inverse function. And we have used the normal distribution to calculate the probability given the value. So they were giving you a particular value, they were giving you an interval, less than, greater than, or in between, and then you were finding the probability. So your input to when you were entering the values in ArtofStat were the values of x, but the output was what's the probability for that event. Now backwards, given the probability, we can use a technique of working backwards to find the value of the variable or the interval of values for the variable. And this is called the inverse of the normal distribution. So the inverse of the normal distribution will be given a probability of an event occurring. And based on that distribution, it will give you back what values of x that would be. In your calculator, you can use the function invnorm, with the probability first, the mean and the standard deviation. Probability must be a decimal. In Excel, there is norm.inv, again probability, mean and standard deviation. And in ArtofStat, we will be in the tab Find Percentile Quantile. We will enter the mean, standard deviation, type of percentile, and probability. And that will solve the problem. So again, in the previous example, find the maximum number of hours per day that the bottom quartile of households uses a personal computer for entertainment. I'm going to sketch my graph. I'm going to label the axis as computer use in hours. The middle is 2. Every tick mark is 0.5. And they are asking me to find the maximum number of hours per day that the bottom quartile of households uses the personal computer. So they are telling me that this probability here will be 25%. and they are asking me to find what is this X value. That's the question. And remember to number your axes, but here I'm going to go in Art of Stat, and instead of being in the tab Find Probability, I will be in the Find Percentile Quantile. I do need a type of percentile to be the lower tail, and I want the probability in the lower tail to be 25%. That will give me the bottom quartile. So the value is 1.663, and the expression is that the probability of X being less than 1.663 is 25%. So here I'm going to write my expression, probability X is less than 1.663 will be 0.25, and then my value X will be 1.663 hours of use of a computer for entertainment.